Morning and welcome to Gardening 365. The weather has been really miserable over the last few days and there's not an awful lot I can do outside today, so I'm just heading down now to the greenhouse for a couple of things. I'll let you know what I'm going to do when I get into the greenhouse. First of all, a quick temperature check. 27.4 at the moment, maximum 33 and 11.3 minimum overnight. The compost project, I've just put my hands in to mix it all up, and there's a heat starting now to form in that, so something's working there now bit by bit. And the root bound kale, those there will look like that in 1 week once you put them into bigger pots. And inside the little hothouse, things are looking good. And the cucumbers and tomatoes are looking great. I'm going to go back into the house now. I'm going to show you a little hack that we do to attract birds, and it's a nice cheap way of doing it. You'll see what I mean when I get back in the house. And the weather on the hills up by us is just as miserable up there. And I've got just under a litre of worm tea ready for feed day Saturday. And absolutely nothing goes to waste in this house. So we've got some little containers from the Chinese, and we've got fat that's come out of either the Sunday roast or from bacon, sausages, that sort of type thing, and we always keep that in a cup or a bowl. And something we have had to purchase, which is birdseed, wild birdseed, and you'll see what I'm going to make very shortly with these. And you need to microwave the fat so it goes into liquid state. Now I always put a paper towel over the top so that it doesn't splash, and that saves mess later. How long for? Until it is completely liquid all the way through. I've managed to make 4, and they need to go into a fridge now for about 24 hours so that they set completely. Now, like I said, nothing goes to waste. Even the little bit of paper towel goes into the recycling bin for the compost. And it's absolutely miserable out here. This is something we're going to use later on in the year. I haven't opened it yet, so I'm just going to take a look inside, see what it looks like. And it's 4.2 kilowatts, so it's going to be a pretty good eater. And that's great, it comes with its own regulator, which will be superb. And we've already got a gas bottle, so we are ready to go. Now that looks a really good piece of kit. And the best thing about it, it's thermostatically controlled, and if it's on this button, and I don't know if you can see it, if it's 1, it's 7 degrees, 2 is 12 degrees, 3 is 17 degrees, 4 is 22 degrees, 5 is 27, and 6 is 32. We certainly won't be going as high as that. So looking forward, well, I'm not looking forward to getting this out and running it, because that will mean we're heading towards the autumn, maybe even into the winter. Okay, we'll show you this working later in the year. Really looking forward to this, using this piece of kit. And just a quick one on composting. If you've got traditional cardboard, absolutely fine to compost. So just rip it up small, okay, or just leave it as is. It doesn't really matter, it will compost. Now then, cardboard that has got print on it is no good, because this will have a glossy film on it, okay, and that will mean there's plastic. The cardboard will break down, but you'll have big strips of plastic in your compost heap, which is something you don't really want. Paper is fine as well if it's not glossy. Not desperately important, but if you want to just rip it up a little bit, it just breaks down that little bit quicker. It's completely up to you. And 24 hours on, after all of the fat has become solid, that's hopefully what it should look like. Could have done with actually a little bit longer, it's not quite set enough, but I'm going to put it onto the bird table and see what we find. So I've got it on the little bird table now. Now that amount of fat balls would have possibly cost you up to about a £5, and remember I made 4, okay, with just stuff that would have been thrown out. Okay, so good value for money. About 4:30 I'm going to put the camera out and just see how many birds, okay, arrive on that in about an hour. Okay, again, informed as always. And when you finish with the tray, do not throw it out. Put it back into the dishwasher or wash it up and use it for another fat tray at a later time. If you're interested in sloe gin, have a listen to Joe Bonamassa, who's one of the modern great blues guitarists. Great track called Sloe Gin. If you're interested in sloe vodka, okay, watch after the first frost where I'll be making sloe vodka, and it's absolutely delicious. And the best thing about gardening is harvesting the goods. Now you'll always get one or two leaves on the outside that are not so good. Do we compost those? Do we give them to the ducks and geese? And watch what happens. Good lettuce, not so good lettuce. Winner winner, chicken dinner. No, lettuce for dinner. Everybody loves gardening, including poultry. Dinner time. And only give your fish what they can comfortably eat in 10 minutes. I think they might need a bit more. And day 7 of the compost experiment. As you notice now, the grass seems to have changed colour, and now the less green in there, and things are starting bit by bit just to start to break down. Morning, today's Saturday and it's feed day. Okay, I've just fed a lot of the plants, especially in the greenhouse. Haven't done the pot plants because they are absolutely sodden. The ones in the house I've done with worm tea. Now then, what I'm going to do today is re-establish the comfrey tea. Now this is comfrey. Okay, it's growing in our wildlife area. And down there you see our pond and some of the wood we've cut. So what I'm going to do very shortly is cut the comfrey down, put it into the comfrey bin, okay, and add water to it. And there wasn't an awful lot of comfrey there, so I'll see if I can top it up with something else. I've just been and got these nettles growing on the side of the track. Now then, as I've always said, with nettles sting, so be very careful. So even myself, okay, I wore gloves to get these. Okay, even 5th Dan black belts feel pain, so wear protective equipment when it needed. And that looks a bit better now. And fill it up with water. Done. Well, I'm now in our potting shed. Now there's only one little problem with our potting shed. See if you can see what it is. We haven't got a shed. So why am I in the potting shed? To transplant this. Now a week or so ago we had some chicken tikka and it was absolutely gorgeous. Okay, and in the chicken tikka with it we had some Raita sauce. And to make the Raita sauce you need a little bit of coriander. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of coriander, but it is nice when you need it for something like that. So what I'm going to do is transplant it, but I'm not going to put it straight into the garden because I don't know where I'm going to put it long term. So what I'm going to do is put it into a pot and plant the pot in the soil, and then whenever I want to transplant it, the job's easy. So the coriander itself was just bought from Aldi's. I don't know what it was, 50p a pound or something like that. And after you've finished it with it, don't just throw it away. Transplant it out in your garden and you've got it there for another time. So take it out of the small pot and put it into the big pot. Keep the small pot for again. Remember, nothing gets wasted here. And now plant the big pot in the garden. And this is to stop it spreading more than anything else. And here's one of the great delights of gardening. A pea straight off the plant, and it's going straight into me because I love fresh peas straight off the pot, straight out the pot. So an example of temporary planting. Place a pot in the ground, cover everything up with soil and you wouldn't even know it's in a pot. Okay, and whenever it needs transplanting to somewhere else or its final position, just pull the pot out, take the pot off the roots, and the roots won't be damaged in any way. Okay, I'll show you how that gets on in the next few weeks. Now, some of my spearmint is going a little bit woody, so what I'm going to do is cut some of it down to encourage new growth, so then you get the newer ones. This is where it's growing too much and it's starting to seed. So there it is, hopefully all new growth. So wherever the stalks have gone purpley colour, they're probably too old, and I've fetched them out. So I've fetched quite a lot out there, and hopefully we'll have new fresh mint very shortly. I'm now going to do the same with the parsley. This is another one that's come from a supermarket in a pot and was put in the garden. Anywhere where the leaves have really started to open out, it's probably getting a bit too woody and probably needs cutting back. And the parsley's had its own lockdown haircut. Where does this go? Well, definitely to the compost heap. Bucket eating the catnip. Cats love it. And a Broody Duck update. Now unfortunately, there's good and bad to this story. Broody Duck was sitting on 6 eggs. The first one hatched and the little chick only had 1 leg. Second one hatched and died very soon after it hatched. And a couple of days later, the one with only 1 leg, that died too. And the 4 other eggs weren't fertile, so we didn't have any that's hatched. So what we did yesterday, we went out and bought these. They're called cherries, not cherry tree, cherry something. Okay, and they're quite big white birds. So not all bad. We have got little chicks at the end of the day, and we'll let you see these growing up. Okay, at the moment they're under a heat lamp because they haven't got a mum. And this is Broody Duck. So she seems okay. Okay, but still really sad for her. We tried her with the little baby chicks, see if she'd take to them, she didn't, so we had to do what we had to do. Such a shame. Okay, we've got some spare rock and stuff, so what I'm doing is just building the edge of the pond so that you don't see any of the liner and stuff, and it just makes it hopefully look a little bit more natural. Just fill in the little gaps. And that's it, we just put rocks all the way around. It's for wildlife to collect in there. Ducks will have fun hunting for that. Just the way, all the way around. Well, that's it for today. Been out in the garden all day. Feel real good. Gonna go for a quick cider outside now before I go in. Okay, and then I'm gonna chill. Saturday evening, lovely. Well, that concludes Gardening 365 for this week. Thanks for watching. Keep inviting your friends to our Facebook page. Please go to YouTube, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.